Hello, my football family, friends. How's everybody doing on Tuesday? This is normal review for last weekend's action. What can I say? The locks went 5-1. I had the Baltimore lock on Thursday, even with Miami. I always get too tempted with the -7s down to -1. Baltimore never saw a blitz, I guess. It's like when there's an accident, nobody's ever seen the blue police lights, and they have to stop and look. Just amazing how bad of a coach Harbaugh is, and the offensive coordinator both should be fired. If you get beat because a team blitzes you, that there's a problem there. Okay, this is the NFL. Teams blitz. They need to run more. They need just the back out of the backfield with the pass. I mean, it's not just watch Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers do it. You don't blitz them, Mahomes, they get rid of the ball real quick. This is Lamar Jackson's problem. Now, let's go with the other locks. 4 locks on college Saturday, 4 winners. Georgia under for a change. I think the last 5 weeks I've locked Georgia under. Ohio State, Purdue over. Western Kentucky playing a Z team in Rice, killing them. And Nevada, a very good team. I think they lost by 2 at the end, but I was getting 9 in the game, and they were up 21-20 late. They took the lead 21-20. I'm getting 9, so it was 30. San Diego State kicks a late field goal to win the game. So 4-0 on the locks on Saturday, and easy. None of them were really like, oh, my God, I need a touchdown. And then Sunday's lock was Minnesota over San Diego. San Diego's a lousy home favorite. Minnesota, they're playing well defensively. Kirk Cousins, you never know what you're going to get. I knew it would be close. I didn't know if Minnesota would win, but I knew it would be a close game. I thought 23-20 or something in that neighborhood, and that's about what it was. They win 27-20. I just got to say in the NFL, way too many penalties. Way too many. The refs call way too many holding penalties and way too many pass interference penalties. If there's any type of contact, or if anybody, any type of contact in the secondary, it's interference. And then they get the stupid offensive interference, which never is. And then the holding penalty, the guy will fall down and they'll think he got thrown down and they call it holding. It's unbelievable what they call for holding there. It's just very bad officiating. The announcers are horrible. Those sit there, yeah, he grabbed his jersey. Bullshit. If you were playing, that would never be a holding call. It was never a holding call before. Now every little tiny thing, and it ruins the game because the team's driving. Now it's 1st and 20 because of a holding call, and it wasn't even a holding call. And all this roughing the quarterback. What the hell is that? Just give him a dress and call it 2-hand touch. And because you can't really tackle him. It's just and you can't. And he swatted the helmet. That's a blow to the head. Give me a break. That's not a blow to the head. A blow when you do that is not a blow to the head. Now if you nail him, that's a different story. But it's the intent is it's a dirty hit, helmet to helmet, and most of those are not even really dirty because you're going to tackle the guy. That guy drops, and now your helmet hits his because you're aiming for his knees, and he drops down. That shouldn't be targeting at all. So you got a lot of horse shit calls in the pros. As far as so let's recap what's going on. Pitt, North Carolina. So Pitt scores a ton on Wake Forest. North Carolina scores a ton on Wake Forest. And here Pitt wins 30-23. So there's not a high-scoring game. Now, Pitt can be a high-scoring team. They score a lot. So you're just scratching your head. Now, I didn't play the game. My pick was Pitt, but I didn't. The over-under was 72. It got nowhere near it. But then if you look at the Wake Forest and NC State game, so that was that was the week before. Who did Wake play? Wake played somebody. NC State. So I take NC State as the dog because I figure their defense will hold up. I get the W. NC State has the lead near the end, and then Wake pulls it off 45-42. So they go over, and NC State has got Pitt's got a better defense than NC State, and Wake puts up a 45 on that team. So wasn't a lock, but I did have NC State plus the 8, and it was a W. But it just shows you. See, that's where when Wake starts putting up big numbers against good defensive teams like Pitt, like NC State, that shows you what it shows you how good their offense is. This week they got Clemson, and they're the dog. I don't know if I can trust Clemson over, but I think I can trust Wake as the dog here. Because NC State's defense is pretty good. It's very close to Clemson's, whose defense isn't as strong as it was, but it's getting better. Oklahoma Baylor. I remember Dennis, one of my customers, telling me, well, I look forward to the upset, and I told him it wasn't going to be an upset. Baylor's the better team. Baylor was the better team. They were getting points. Strong bet Baylor. Baylor wins the game straight out, plus 11.5. They win by 13. This is where the coding of the teams come in. Baylor was an A. Oklahoma was an O because they don't have a great defense. And so what happens? Baylor's defense, just as it says, they're an A. They have a good defense, holds them to 14. And Oklahoma's defense is weak. Baylor puts up 27. Probably should have put up more, but, they're a dog at home. See, I love it. They're a home dog, and they kill Oklahoma. Oklahoma State's going to beat Oklahoma because they got a really good defense, and they lit it up really strong. So look for them to really get going. But this is what you see. So you see Oklahoma, you got to look at who they played. They didn't play Baylor, a loss. They didn't play Oak State, and now they got Iowa State. The 3 strong teams in the league, they didn't play. So to be undefeated doesn't mean anything. And they were an over beforehand. Well, they're going to give up. No, Iowa State maybe won't beat them, but could. And Kansas State played them at 37-31, and then Oak State, they don't have a chance against Oak State now with that defense, especially since they don't really have a quarterback. Rattler's not that good. The other kid's just a runner. So when they play an Oak State team with a big defense, he's not going to do anything there. Look at that. Let's see. So let's pick some games. Clemson 44-7 over UConn. They're laying 41, and as I said, if you're going to take the 41, then bet it, but then you can go under 52. So if you're going to go 35, well, if you think they're going to win, as I said, Connecticut wasn't going to score. They scored 7. Clemson could only get 44 on the worst defense in the country. So 44-7 is a 51. The over-under is 52. You go under it was a winner. You could take Clemson minus 34, but it was a very, Clemson doesn't score that much, and they really didn't score that much. So now it sets up when Wake Forest is coming. They only scored 44 on Connecticut. They're going to score in the 20s. Wake looks like against NC State puts up a 40. I think Wake wins the game, and I think they score. I think they're going to score in the 30s, and they're going to win the game. I think they very explosive. I love their quarterback. Iowa changes quarterbacks. The quarterback looks okay. You're wondering why didn't they change quarterbacks 3 weeks ago when the other one was either hurt or playing hurt or just wasn't very good. Big win beating Minnesota. They're all tied for the lead. Iowa and Minnesota and Wisconsin and there was one other team in there. I don't know. Was it Nebraska? No, I don't think it was Nebraska. Iowa and Wisconsin and Minnesota and Purdue. And Purdue, they had their hands full, but they still put up 30 points on Ohio State. So they're still a really good offensive team, but it's just hard to stop Ohio State. I'll get to that game in a little bit. Virginia Tech lights up Duke, even with I don't know which quarterback played, but the quarterback was questionable. Duke is the Z team there. Duke is Terrible, terrible defense. So now it's like, find who's Duke playing. If it's anybody good, just bet against them. And that was the method to a lot of my madness last week. And I had another year. This is like the 5th week in a row. I've just been killing college. All my locks went 4-0 this week. It was like 3-0 the week before. It was like 3-0 the week before with my college locks. They're just, I don't want to say easy, but they're reacting the way that I handicap it to react is what's happening. In other words, when I lose Buffalo against Jacksonville, that's not what should happen, right? Buffalo is the A, Jacksonville is the Z. There's no way that should happen. In the pros, there's a problem there. There's no real strong teams, and the Z's, who knows how bad they are. In college, that would be like Connecticut beating Clemson, right? Clemson's a 41-point favorite. So Buffalo losing to Jacksonville would be like Connecticut beating Clemson or New Mexico State beating Alabama. It's not going to happen. Oh, even Vanderbilt against Alabama, that's the Z team, or Vanderbilt, Georgia. It's not going to happen. The A team's not losing in college, but in the pros, Buffalo and then Baltimore loses to Miami, Tampa loses. What the hell is going on? But in college, everything's going the way. Baylor beats Oklahoma, not a surprise. NC State's a live dog against Wake. Virginia Tech kills a weak Duke team. Boston College, Georgia Tech. Boston College's quarterback's back. Jerkovic, who was the Notre Dame transfer, who was out for 5 or 6 weeks, came back and played. So now BC has the quarterback back, and look out for them. They'll be a strong dog because they'll be a dog because Vegas won't catch up with it. Vegas is still looking at the whole stats, not the Jerkovic stats and the other guy's stats. They don't. That's Vegas's downfall, and that's where I really pick up. Like I said, Miami has been going over because they haven't adjusted the totals because they're looking at the King and the early season totals, not with Van Dyke. Michigan, Penn State. I would have loved Penn State to be favored. I was surprised they weren't favored at home. Michigan gets the slight win, 21-17. Penn State was winning. It was a dog game all the way. I would have locked had Michigan been the dog versus Penn State. So I didn't play the game. I played the game actually over 42, and I almost got it. It was 38 at the end, and Penn State's driving. If they score a touchdown, it goes over. I was hoping they would have driven down and won 24-21. Rutgers, Indiana. This shows you how bad Indiana is. They're on their 4th quarterback, the 4th-string freshman. He's terrible. Rutgers puts up 38. Where's that? So Indiana's quit. So whoever Indiana plays, bet against them. And I know they got Purdue coming up next week, and Purdue's going to light them up. So take Purdue unless it's like 30. Houston, Temple. Houston, the A team, crushing Temple, the Z team. It's good that Houston scores 37. I would have expected more against Temple, who's the Z team, but Houston's going to have Cincinnati coming up in the championship game if they don't play them in the regular year. Michigan State, off of a loss, beats Maryland. Maryland, it's just Tagliavua throwing his interceptions. He gets a couple of touchdowns. Weak defense. Michigan State off the loss. And now they got Ohio State this week. So they put up a 40 there. So we'll get into this week in a little bit. Oak State crushes TCU. Oak State is just so strong. TCU, again, I don't know how they beat Baylor. It's unbelievable. And then they get crushed by Oak State. Again, very inconsistent, very bad coaching, and I think they got rid of their coach. Yeah, a Goldsmith. If I was a team, I'd pick him up, pro or college. That guy's a great coach. How does Kansas beat Texas? That shows you. See, my whole theory is we're looking for weak defenses to bet against. And then in this game, Kansas is a Z team with a weak defense. Texas is an over team with a weak defense. Both quarterbacks were questionable, so I don't know what happened. 57-56, and Kansas was crushing them, and Texas came back. But it just shows you by finding the weak defenses. And weak defenses are teams that give up over 30. 30 or over means they're not going to stop that. And so if you get a really good quarterback, here you got Kansas lighting them up. So Texas is quit. They can score, but look at this. For Kansas to put up 57 on you, that's bad. Notre Dame, Virginia had their third string, some freshmen never played before. Now here's where an example of the line, right? The line, my line was 10. It goes, the opening line's 4.5. And then I notice it Friday night, Saturday goes to 6. So for it to move from 4.5 to 6, I knew Virginia's quarterback was questionable. I don't know if he's playing or not, but this is where I tell you about the line. The line goes to 6. And then I'm saying, okay, that means he's not playing, and jump on Notre Dame. And that's exactly what happened. And they kill him. So that's an example of, I don't know if the quarterback's playing until the line moves. And when the line jumps 1.5 points like that, he ain't playing. So if he was playing, it would have stayed at 4.5. Western Kentucky, Rice. Western Kentucky was a lock. Why? 18.5 over a Z team in Rice. Terrible defense. Western Kentucky throws the ball. They got a great quarterback, and they score a lot. So I'm thinking they're going to score a lot against a team with a weak defense. And Rice, they don't have, they're a Z. They don't have much offense. So they were way up, Western Kentucky, and it was like 42-14. Rice scores a late touchdown, 42-21. I've got 18 down to 12. So I'm laying 12 with Western Kentucky. That's why I locked it. So when you get a good offense playing a Z team with a weak defense, that's what you love, because they're going to score. And Western Kentucky put up 42. The problem is when the Z team, when you don't score on them and you leave them around, and Cincinnati's been doing that, not even against Z teams, but against W teams. Cincinnati's not pounding it. So that's the difference. But Western Kentucky, that's exactly what you want. A Western Kentucky, a good quarterback who throws a lot, scores a lot. When they play the Z, the teams with the weak defense, they're going to light them up, because that's what they do. They throw the ball, they're going to light them up. The defense isn't strong enough to get pressure and get interceptions. So that's what you have. Just a second. Todd. Hi, Todd. You're early, sir. I want to go. I'm going to run to the pool after, so I wanted to get this in now. And this isn't college. College will be tomorrow. This is my recap. UTSA ruined my 8-team teaser, taking a chance with the Oregon State home dog, taking your advice with the Z teams playing the better teams. UTSA was one of my, I think I lost 2 games, in Michigan over and that one. That was surprising what happened was Southern Miss. I looked at the box score and I said, what the hell happened? Because UTSA's got that great running back and the quarterback's good and they score and they got a good defense. And when I looked at the box score, Southern Miss was terrible. They played Navy ball. Their quarterbacks threw like 5 times. So they ran the ball like 50 times and made it a Navy type of game. So UTSA didn't have the ball as much. But again, you're not looking for Southern Miss to do that. Oregon State is a home dog. Oregon State? I don't think Oregon State. I think they killed. Yeah, they beat Stanford big. I'm not sure which home dog you're talking. Taking a chance. Oregon State home dog plus 10. So no, Oregon State was a favorite against Stanford, and they won by 21, laying 12. So you're laying 6 there. So I don't know which home dog, but UTSA, they were laying 30 to Southern Miss, and because Southern Miss played Navy ball, UTSA only put up 27 because they didn't have that many possessions. But that was out of left field. Southern Miss hadn't played like that all year. So, I'm looking at the runs, and they threw 5 times. So don't know what that is, but that's the, you don't know if Southern Miss is going to do that, but UTSA was laying 33. They are playing Arizona. Oh, you're talking this week, Oregon State? Yeah, this week, Oregon State. Let's see. They're up to 4.5. I got them at 2.5. But yeah, if they went up to 4, I think this is Sunday's line, maybe Monday's line. I didn't get today. I got today's pro. I didn't get today's college yet. Yeah, I mean, I think Oregon State, they got a great quarterback, great offense. They got a good team, and they're better as a home dog than if the game was in the desert. So, yeah, I like Oregon State as a home dog this week. Um, yeah, I mean, did you play my four locks? Well, maybe you did in an 8-teamer. But that if you would have played my 5 locks, so you had Minnesota and the 4 college locks, and then you had Notre Dame, Baylor, which Baylor I was very high on. And what else? And then Miami over Florida State. So that could have been 8 there. But, yeah, I mean, it's tough with UTSA. That's the hard part with the 8-team teasers. There's always one game that fucks you up. As careful as you can be. And UTSA, they're undefeated. They had to win. So, yeah, that was a tough one. But let me get to them. So UCLA, Thompson played the quarterback, and they kill Colorado, who doesn't score a lot. And it shows UCLA against an under team puts up 44 points. So they're an over team against anybody that can score. And I've been betting them over quite a bit. Utah's a very strong over team, even though you think they're a good defensive team. They're a very strong team. Utah, 38-29, another over with Arizona. Laying the 25. I'm surprised Arizona scored as much as they did. 2 quarterbacks were out, so the third stringer must have came in and lighted up. The following week, I will be purchasing your locks. Okay, Todd. Sounds good. I think I have 1 pro, maybe 2. A lock will be Pittsburgh over San Diego if Roethlisberger plays. San Diego is a terrible home favorite, as I said. But I have at least 1, maybe 2. I don't know about New England. If it was Sunday, I'd be locking New England over whoever the hell they play. New England over Atlanta. That'd be a lock. But this Thursday night, I hate this Thursday night. It's a short work week. But if anybody can do it, Belichick is capable of not falling like Baltimore did to Miami. Because they went to overtime with Minnesota. I love the bullshit. Well, they went to overtime with Minnesota, so therefore they're too tired to beat a crappy Miami team because Miami blitzed every play and they couldn't figure it out. So yeah, the locks. Like I said, in college, I'll go through that. I should have another 2 or 3 easily. But if you buy and you want to play an 8 or 10 team teaser, give me an email. And I can talk to you offline and give you like the UCLA overs and the Wake Forest and all those, the Notre Dames that I don't lock but are very good plays. Especially if you buy my locks, you're not going to get those plays. So if you buy my college pack, I think it's $100 for just the college. It's only $125 for everything, and you get the locks. But if you want just the college for $100, so for $25 more, you get all the college plays. And so you can see how I lock, like Ohio State. I had them locked with Georgia under, and then I had them again in another teaser, and everything won. So you can play them twice. That's really the best way to play the teaser when you find that lock, like Ohio State last week. You knew it was going to be high scoring. You want them in more than one teaser, and the theory is you go 3-0 instead of 4-0, which is a lot easier to do, but you still have them in 2 teasers. But we can discuss that offline on an email. But that would be my suggestion is if you want to play, buy the locks, but if you want to play an 8 or 9 team teaser, buy the college, or I can give you some advice on the other 4 or 5 teams. App State, they're the A team in the Sun Belt, kills South Alabama, who is a pretty good team. But that line was 22. I thought that was a high line. I had App State by 10. They win by 24. Again, UCLA is a good over. Arizona State, Washington. I liked Arizona State. I didn't play it because it was at Washington. What surprised me was the score. I thought it would stay under. It was 45. And where does Washington get 30? I thought Arizona State had a good defense, and they give up 30 to Washington. I'm just like, what happened? See, but sometimes you get the punt returns, the block punts, the interceptions, and that's what makes the score higher, but it's not really the offense doing it. So you got to be careful with what happens. Oregon over Washington State. I remember somebody asking me about that game, and I said, be careful because the spread was too high at 14, and they win by 14. So it was hard to play Oregon and lay that much to a decent Washington State team. So again, Washington State was a live dog there because of the point spread being so high. Oregon State, we talked about over Stanford. They put up a big number. Stanford's not very good right now. They're a W going down fast. So bet against them. USC Cal never played. I kept trying to find a score, and it was, I guess, postponed. I don't know if it was COVID. I know Garbers, the quarterback, was injured and questionable, but I didn't know they were going to cancel the game. I just never saw a score on it, but I didn't like it. Let's see. Iowa State, Texas Tech. And give Texas Tech credit for beating Iowa State. Good defense. Texas Tech scored. Iowa State put up their 38 against kind of a weak defensive Texas Tech team. So I don't know. Iowa State, they missed Montgomery, the running back. The Bears took him, and they're just not the same this year. Purdy's okay, but they're not running. So they have a good defense, but Texas Tech found 41 on them. So I don't know, but they got Oklahoma this week. Lou Lafayette, very strong team in the Sun Belt, beats Troy 35-21. Troy's an under with a good defense, so Lafayette's a very strong team. My girlfriend likes Lafayette. I was in Vegas with her, and I said, well, who do you like? Just, and she says, oh, I like Lafayette. And they're a very good team. I didn't know who they were at the time, but now I know they are what they are. And Levi Lewis, their quarterback, and they score a lot, and they're a very good Sun Belt team. SMU, UCF, SMU killed them. I thought they would. I should have locked the freaking game. Only laying 7. And UCF, again, Gabriel's out. They got Mikey Keene or somebody in there for UCF, and he's not really very good. But SMU at home, this is a game this isn't like the Navy game. See, when you get more focused, when you got the bigger games, this is when the Cincinnatis and the SMUs are going to play better, and they play each other this week. I gotta do some studying on that one. Kentucky, Vanderbilt. There you go. Vanderbilt's the Z team. Kentucky 34-17. Vandy with the weak defense. Actually, it was. I thought Kentucky would score more, but they're not very strong offensively. Although they did kill LSU, which makes no sense. Alabama, New Mexico State. What are you going to do with that one? Laying 51. They had it covered at half. They didn't score in the second half. Over under is 67. They get to 62. So barely, but you can see what happens, right? The third and fourth string are in there in the fourth quarter and half the third quarter. So you're not going to get more points. So if New Mexico gets a touchdown and it's 59-10, you do cover, but let's say it was 52-10, you don't cover. So it's a very tricky to lay 50. And again, why is Alabama scheduling New Mexico State? This part I don't really get, but I think they didn't come off a loss, but they came off of a close LSU game. But again, what are they doing scheduling this? And then the announcers will say, oh, look how good Alabama is. They should be in the playoff because they beat New Mexico State 59-3. Look how good they are. Unbelievable. Georgia, Tennessee. Again, that was a lock under. If anything really in the 50s, I locked Georgia under, and here it was 56, so 62. Got a little close at the end. It was 41-10 real late. Tennessee scores. It goes from 51 to 58, but we're still 62, and that was the game. There was like a minute left, so not really a sweat there. Ohio State, Purdue. I was torn between taking Purdue and Ohio State. And I just felt that the over I knew Purdue would score, and I knew how. What did I say? Something in the 80s. This ended up being a 90 and 65. This I think I locked it at 61 or 62. It started there and it kept going up. So I locked it over teasers and 59-31. Again, Purdue didn't. It was a 40-29 game with Michigan State. So I knew Purdue could score. I didn't think Ohio State would score every possession in the first half, but this was a game that was the lock of 56 was over at halftime. It was like 40 something to 17. It was like 42-17. It was at 59 at the half. And again, and then Ohio State scores 10 points in the second half and cruises in. So it makes it hard when one team dominates. They kind of shut down in the second half. So, but Purdue did a lot of scoring. Miami, Florida State. I had Miami in 3.5. I got the W there with Van Dyke. Surprised they lost. They had them 28-20. I was tentative because of Florida State. I didn't know who the quarterback was going to be. I thought the option guy was not going to. I thought he was injured. He played. Had I known he was going to play, this would have also been an over. They scored 59. The over was 60.5 or 61. But I took Miami in 3.5, which was a win. But I would have felt Miami, I want to play over more than I want to take Miami. And I was surprised they didn't win. But their defense is so bad, but their quarterback's so good that it just makes it a beautiful over team. Arkansas beating LSU 16-13. It's about Arkansas is a very good team. LSU, I don't know. Their coach is leaving, I guess. You can't really trust LSU, but their defenses, they played really good against Alabama. Now they're playing really good against Arkansas. So maybe their defense is coming in. Maybe they're an under team. We'll see coming up. Normally they play Arkansas at Thanksgiving, so I don't know what's going on with their schedule. Georgia Southern, Texas State, they're both W's. Georgia Southern's like Navy. They run the ball. They both have weak defenses. And what I'm looking at are these teams, when weak defenses play each other, do I bet it over? It was a 53, and final was 38-30. And it was a 68 because neither defense can do anything. So you let me take a quick look at when weak defenses play each other. If it's an over, bear with me for a second. Yeah, Kansas, Texas, 2 weak defenses. They get 113. Hawaii, Vegas, no, they only got a 27-13, which you can't figure that out. Charlotte, Louisiana Tech goes way over under 57, 2 weak defenses. LTech wins 42-32. The difference is LTech was an over team. Texas was an over team. But when you get to Hawaii and Vegas is a weak team, but Hawaii's an over team. So I'm surprised Hawaii didn't score more. And then we got to Georgia Southern, Texas State, and then Tulane and Tulsa did not go over 20-13, and both teams have terrible defenses. Tulane's supposedly an over team. They got 13 on Tulsa. It doesn't make sense. North Texas, UTEP. One of my friends asked me about that, and I told them, yeah, I liked UTEP in the 5, and they won. They lost 2017, but they cover in a teaser. This is why we bet the teasers, because it gives us a better probability of winning, and picking the second game's easy. Arkansas State, Louisiana Monroe, both weak defenses, and I got off of Louisiana Monroe. They beat Liberty and they beat South Alabama, and they put up 500-600 yards. And then since then, so I locked them against App State and they got killed, but they covered. And then we had them against Texas State, who's a Z team, and they lose close, and we won. And then here they were laying 3, and I didn't like them because they couldn't beat Texas State. And they don't look, whatever was there is not there. And they would have pushed. They were laying 3. They lost by 3. But I didn't like them as a favorite there. I stayed away from them. It just wasn't – had they kept putting up 500-600 yards and scoring a lot, they were scoring in the 40s. So it was a sleeper, but now they're 24 against Arkansas State with the weak defense. So I'm off of Louisiana Monroe for now. And that's what you do is you look for the hot team. It's Miami of Florida now. They change quarterbacks. This guy's unbelievable. So now I moved to Miami and playing them over and playing Wake Forest over. So you adjust to what's happening in the game. Fresno State I didn't lock it, but I had it. They were playing New Mexico, who's a bad team. Both their quarterbacks were questionable. Fresno wins 34-7, an easy win. Air Force, Colorado State. I would have loved if Air Force was the dog in the game. They win easy, 35-21. I didn't play Colorado State as the dog. I just simply didn't play because Air Force laying 2.5. See, it's like the Michigan game. If it was just normal, Penn State laying 3, I locked Michigan at 9. Same thing with Colorado State's laying the 3 as they should have at home. I would have taken the Air Force as a live dog. Utah State kills San Jose State, even though Starkel's back. And Nevada, San Diego State, that was my 4th lock. San Diego State was laying 3, and this is what I'm talking about. Had Michigan and the Air Force been in the same boat, they both would have been locks getting the points, and they both won without, So here San Diego State's laying 3. They win 23-21, but it was 21-20 late, so no sweat. Nevada in 9, and that's an easy winner. So those are your lessons learned. So the Baylor upset was not an upset, and this is what I'm trying to teach you. That's why you grade the team. So I have Baylor as an A. Strong offense, strong defense, playing a over team in Oklahoma who has they don't have a weak defense. They don't give up 30, but they give up like 28. And you just know that they're not going to hold Baylor. Baylor's going to be competitive. You got them at home as a dog. You can't look at Baylor losing to TCU because they're looking ahead to Oklahoma. They want to beat Oklahoma. It's a team they play well. So when you get a team like Baylor or Oregon State as a home dog, that's what you want. You want these good teams and an A team over an O team. And you've got to look at the whole grasp. You got to look at the whole season. I'm rating Baylor as an A, not looking at the Texas Christian game, but looking at the whole picture. Baylor's been very good all year, so therefore I've got to look at Baylor as an A team. So they play the over and they win it. Now, this week, do I play Baylor? Well, I don't know. I got to see the spread and who they play, and I don't think they'll be flat against Oklahoma because they need the game, but it gives them confidence. Hey, we beat Oklahoma. We can beat anybody here. NC State, Wake Forest putting up 45. This week they got Clemson. So let's take a quick look at that game. And this is Teaserking's quick analysis. I haven't checked injuries, but I haven't heard that the Wake guy was out. Where is it? Come on, I just saw it. I want to say Clemson's 12-point favorites. Come on, where are they? Come on. This is why I like highlighting, because then I only go after the highlighted games. Okay, here it is. Oh, I did circle Wake Forest. Clemson's 3.5, 55 in this game. I had Clemson -7 out of just because I thought I thought would be the line, not necessarily Clemson's better. I think Wake Forest is a better team. I got Wake Forest as an over with a very strong quarterback, and Clemson is an under, but getting a little bit better. They're almost an even, but they're still an under. But then watching these teams get scoring on them, Pitt beat them, NC State beat them. Pitt put up 27, and I said, okay, Pitt's putting up 27. Wake's going to put up 30. Clemson's going to score, but they're not going to beat them by 9.5. So here's where I like Wake Forest. I'm almost liking the over in the game. Now, I've been betting Clemson under every week, and they've been very good to me, losing 17-14 or winning 27-17. Pitt beat them, so it was a low-scoring game. Even last week against Connecticut, it was very low-scoring. So here, Clemson 3.5, Wake Forest and 9.5, I think is gold. I just think their quarterback's just way too tight. I think he'll score. I would be shocked if Clemson won the game with their quarterback. Over under 55 to 49. I think Clemson's quarterback got a little bit better, so I can see this almost being an over, but I think you got to take Clemson in the 9.5. So a better bet. There's some interesting games this week. You've got Nevada 2 over Air Force. So I finally get Air Force as a dog against Nevada. No thanks. Let's see. Miami, Virginia Tech. If Virginia Tech's healthy, the over-under is only 55. They haven't figured out Miami. This game should be a 65. Any Miami game should be a 65 with this Van Dyke. I mean, they put up a 61. It was, 31-30 or 34-31 against Florida State. It's a 60. Virginia Tech, it's going to be 49. That'll be the halftime score. They haven't figured it out. Michigan State, Ohio State lane 20. They got Michigan coming up, but that won't matter. They have to win this game. Over under is 67. I smell Michigan State normally plays them well, but I smell an over here. Ohio State, at worst, it's a Penn State game, right? 33-24 to the 57, so 61. But I see Michigan State. They're going to run. They're going to score against Ohio State. It'll be like the Purdue game. Ohio State's going to score because they're a little scared and they're at home. And Michigan State, their defense isn't that strong. Like I said, Purdue put up a 40. Ohio State will be in the 50s. Michigan State will be maybe 30, another 80-point game. Virginia Tech fired their coach. Okay. So who's the coach? And as long as their offensive coordinator – well, the coach was the offensive coordinator. Who is that good offensive coach? So that makes Miami. So maybe you take Miami -1 then. If you don't think Virginia, if you think the coach is going to bother him, take Miami -1 versus the 55. But either way, I definitely like Miami. And, with Van Dyke, it's pretty much of an over every week. Michigan, Maryland. Michigan laying 15. They should kill Maryland. Maryland again with no defense. Michigan's defense will shut out Tagliavue, another 3-4 interception game against a good defense. 15-55. You can lay 9. I think that's there. I don't think Maryland scores too much in the game, but Michigan. And again, they got Ohio State, but they have to win because they've got the loss to Michigan State, which makes it sweeter. They can't afford to lose, and then the Ohio State game is meaningless because Ohio State's loss was out of conference to Oregon. So if Ohio State beats Michigan State and Michigan were to lose, then Ohio State wins the conference. So Michigan has to win this game. That's why sometimes it's good when they lost to Michigan State, and then they can still beat Ohio State. So you got some games here. Cincinnati's playing. They got what do they got? Houston. No, SMU. So that's another interesting game is Cincinnati laying 12 to SMU. I think that's a big number, over under a 65. And Cincinnati's been having trouble beating Tulane and Tulsa. Now you got a real offense coming in, SMU, who should light it up. Cincinnati's got a very good defense. You got to be careful. But I think Cincinnati will score a lot in the game, and I think SMU will definitely get at least in the 20s, if not the 30s. So I think it's a 40-30 game. Over under a 65. I think you go over 59. You can take SMU in 18, but you got to be careful against a good defensive team. But SMU showed a lot against Houston, coming back and tying the game, losing on a touchdown, a kickoff return with 20 seconds left. So they showed a lot of heart in the Houston game. Houston's an A team, so I think SMU in 18. I think that's a strong play there. Pitt against Virginia. Pitt should kill them, especially if Virginia's quarterback doesn't play. Pitt's very strong. They need the game for the conference. Again, Nevada Air Force probably tease the dog there. I love Carson Strong. Nobody talks about him for the Heisman. Nobody talks about him for the draft. But yet, this is a guy that you want. This is a guy I would draft ahead of these other morons, that they're talking about. It's just funny how they never talk about him. Like what he does doesn't mean anything. because he's not in a Power 5 conference, whatever the hell that means. Houston, Memphis. Houston needs the game for their conference. Memphis is kind of weak defense, and the spread's only 9.5. Again, this is yesterday's spread, not today. Louisville gets the honor of crushing Duke with the Z defense. I'm not looking at the max. It's too inconsistent. The Z team, see, there really isn't a Z team in the MAC. Bowling Green's terrible. Ohio, well, I think it's Akron. Yeah, Akron's the Z team. They play Kent on Saturday. But like tonight, I didn't play anything. Tomorrow, Northern Illinois, Buffalo, but you got to check Buffalo's quarterback if he's playing. Central and Ball. Central's probably a live dog there, but I don't know. Let's go swing around. Liberty and Louisiana Lafayette. I like the dog there. Louisiana Lafayette and 10. I got to check the over-under. It's only 53. Maybe it's an over. Purdue Northwestern. Purdue should kill Northwestern. Northwestern's terrible. Purdue probably has to win out to win the West because they beat Iowa, and I don't think they played Wisconsin yet. And then Minnesota, I don't know if they played that. I mean, they must have. I think they lost to Minnesota, but Purdue should kill Northwestern. Minnesota will kill Indiana. Indiana's quit. They got a freshman 4-string quarterback and no defense. Minnesota, as long as their quarterback's healthy, they'll kill. I love the Iowa. Iowa's like the over/under in Iowa game. Haven't seen 40 yet. The last 4 or 5, it's 38. Illinois strong defense. It's an under game, but you make the over/under 38. It's hard to go there. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. Notre Dame should kill them. Georgia Tech with the weak defense. Cal, Stanford, which used to be good, but you got to see if Chase Garbers is playing for Cal. Yeah, Arizona State we talked about, favorite over Oregon State. Oregon State should be the favorite in the game. They're probably the better team, especially what Arizona State did last week against a weak team, Stanford. No, whoever they played. Yeah, Oregon State, USC, UCLA. UCLA only 3. Probably go over the 65 down to 59. You got to, Slovis is fine. UCLA doesn't really have a good defense. Neither does USC, but USC should score on them. These big rivalries, they're going to score more and go for 4th down and everything. There's so many games. Real quickly, Alabama, Arkansas. Alabama's laying 20. Arkansas is very good. They run the ball good. 20 is about right. Probably over the 56 is the way to play this. Alabama will put up their 42. Oklahoma, Iowa State. Oklahoma's a 5-point favorite, over under 60. Oklahoma's not really an over team now. They don't know what quarterback to use. And Iowa State, again, Iowa State's the better team here. And you know they're going to get jacked up at Oklahoma, so won't surprise me if Iowa State getting 11 covers. Oak State 10 over Texas Tech, over under 56. Oak State should kill them. They got such a strong defense, and Texas Tech's got a weak defense. And the way Oak State looked last week, they're starting to get their offensive act together. Look for them. K-State 1 over Baylor. There you go. You get Baylor as a dog again. That's unbelievable. And, they're not – I don't see them being flat after beating Oklahoma because they know they're the dog. They're going to be pretty fired up here. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it for that. So let's look at the pros from last week. I had the 2 locks. I had Baltimore Thursday night against Miami laying 1, and they score a whole 10 points because they've never seen a blitz. I mean, this is why I don't like locking Thursday night, because it fucks your whole weekend up. And the team's on a short week off their schedule, so it's very hard. But I do look for Baltimore this week to be awfully pissed. They're playing at Chicago, and if Chicago blitzes them and they don't know what to do, I just give up on Harbaugh. Should be fired. Offensive coordinator should be fired. Lamar Jackson should be, cut from the team if they can't handle the Bears with Fields. They couldn't handle Miami with Tagliabue. So, he didn't really score. They got a pick six or something. I think he got one goal line, quarterback sneak, but he didn't do anything in the game. That's not the reason they won. It was most of the defense scored. So let's see. Indy barely beat Jacksonville. What's going on there? New England, they look great. They killed Cleveland. They're strong defensive. They're playing good. Atlanta, Dallas. Dallas bounces back after getting killed by Denver. And again, this is why it's all matchups. Denver's matchup hurt Dallas. Then they get an easy Atlanta who gave up and their defense quit, and they killed them. So Dallas did bounce back after the loss. Buffalo bounced back after the loss, 45-17. Again, the Jets is a home dog. They beat Tennessee. They beat Cincinnati, and then they get blown up by Buffalo. So, again, you try to figure it out. How could this team get blown out by Buffalo, beat Tennessee and Cincinnati? It's the problem with the NFL. It's just way too fixed. Tennessee, New Orleans, this shows me that Simeon's good in 23-21, and that New Orleans is very strong defensively. They're a very well-coached. They're the best coach team, I think. And it just shows me they're a live dog. They're a very strong team. Tampa Bay, Brady throws 3 interceptions. What the fuck's going on there? Off of a loss and a bye. Still Antonio Brown and Gronk were out. Some of their defense was out, but Tampa Bay's just played terribly against a terrible Washington team, and they lost Chase Young in the second quarter. So he didn't play on. So what the fuck? They make Heineke look great. I mean, again, how can that happen? Detroit, Pitt. Okay, Roethlisberger was out. I checked it to the under. So when you lose a quarterback like a Roethlisberger, like like Russell Wilson, Rodgers didn't play. Every time those quarterbacks didn't play, I played the game under and won. So Roethlisberger doesn't play, so they're not going to score. They're going to run, and it's 16-16. And, Detroit should have won with that long field goal at the end, but Pittsburgh probably could have won if the guy doesn't fumble and kick a long field goal. But either way, it's still a 32. My over-under was 47. The lock was Minnesota as a dog, getting 3 up to 9. San Diego's a terrible home favorite. Minnesota, they got a strong defense again. Cousins is okay. I love Jefferson. Cook's playing. I knew they'd run the ball down their throats. That's exactly what happened. And they get the W. I knew it would be close. I didn't even know if Minnesota would win. I didn't care. I had the 9, and I knew that was that. And that's the lock. That's what I'm looking for in a lock, is the live dog. And again, I had many in 2 teasers. Arizona, Carolina. Cam Newton still sucks. He's back, but where was he on New England the last 2 years? He's back. What a crock. But Arizona, again, they're terrible at home. You can't explain this. I played this game under and won because the over-under with 42 went to 48 without Murray. And with Cam Newton, it was a very easy under, and that's exactly what happened. Green Bay, Seattle. Now, this game I miscalculated. Normally, I would have been all over Seattle as a road dog, but I didn't play it because this was Wilson's first game. However, I did go over 43. And there was 3 end zone interceptions in the game, 2 by Russell Wilson and 1 by Rodgers. I mean, in the other end zone, so that's 3 touchdowns. That's 21, and 17 is 38. So I would have been close. But Green Bay, I don't know, is their defense really that good? Russell Wilson didn't look like he hadn't played. I mean, maybe the first quarter, but he just had pressure. They don't run the ball, and then his receivers were just double covered. It was good defense by Green Bay, but that's ridiculous. Seattle easily could have had 14 or more. I think there was a missed field goal. So it could easily have been 31-17, which would have given me an over. But that's what happens. Denver, Philly, who knows these teams, which Denver team and which Philly team are going to show up. You have no idea. Hurts, he starts running. Denver acted like they didn't see a running quarterback before. Philly, a live dog, they're better on the road. They're a weak home favorite. Okay, Todd. My Packers versus Minnesota, tease the under or Minnesota? I'm almost going to say tease your Packers. I got to look at the head-to-head. I haven't looked at it yet because I'm not at that point yet. I'll go into scores and odds. No, into what's this SU? I go into scoresandodds.com and I click on the matchup in NFL for the week, and so I go to the Green Bay Minnesota game and I'll look at the last 10 games. And then I know how they play each other. My initial thought is probably under. Minnesota is okay as a home dog, not great. Green Bay's okay as a road favorite. Both are like 9-1 this year in a teaser. So I got it as an either game, maybe the under 49, under 55, because Green Bay plays a good defense. Minnesota's playing a good defense, so it's probably an under is the best play. Again, if Minnesota was favored, I would lock Green Bay. Green Bay favored, I don't know if I want to fuck with Aaron Rodgers, the way they're playing and the way their defense is playing, to take Minnie and 9. It's funny, at San Diego, I'll take Minnie and 9, but at home, they're not that greatest home dog. So anyway, where was I? So Denver, Philly, again, this is the problem. Denver at home favorite, no idea. They get killed. They beat Dallas by 40, and they can't beat Philly at home. It just makes no sense. Philly is not a very good team. I think they had 2 or 3 wins. Who knows what to do with it. And that's the problem. Like, you can't really get caught into the week. You can't look at, okay, Baltimore, and that's what my problem has been. It's like I'll play Tennessee, they lose to the Jets, and then I get off of Tennessee for a while, and they win, and then I get on them with Indy, and then Cincy beats Baltimore, I get on them against the Jets, they lose to Cleveland, now they're buying. Denver kills Dallas, and then they can't beat Pitt, so you can't get caught into looking at the last week. That's the lesson now, is you got to look at the whole picture. And really, there was no trend on the game. This is a game you don't even pay attention to. KC Oakland, I played the game under 58. I got a W. KC looked like they came alive, finally scoring. They couldn't score on the Giants. They couldn't score on Green Bay. Now I think Green Bay's defense is really strong. And now they go put up 41 on Oakland. But as I said, KC was 6-1 against Oakland the last 7, and they came through again. That's why I go into the matchups. And then the Rams and 49ers, I had under 56 yesterday, figuring that Frisco couldn't score. That was the logic, was Stafford's China doll. As soon as you pressure him, he gets happy feet. That's why the Lions never won a playoff game. He gets a happy feet. He turns the ball over. Another pick six, more turnovers, and he's not a good quarterback. They're not going to win a playoff game with him. As soon as you put pressure on him, he folds. And they're keeping the running game away. 31-10. Now I thought it would be 31-10 Rams, but Frisco had won the last 4. Now they've won the last 5. It was a Frisco play, but they're not a good home dog. So it became the only way I could play the game was under, thinking, well, the Rams good defense and Frisco won't score. They really didn't. I mean, when you get the pick sixes from Stafford, their offense didn't score. Their defense scored. Stafford gave them the ball, so that's what happens. But so I hit those 2 unders. And so lessons learned here. Baltimore, you got to watch the Thursday games. Baltimore act like they've never seen a blitz before, and that's Baltimore's problem in the playoffs, why they can't win with Lamar Jackson. As soon as you blitz, he can't read it. He can't get rid of the ball quickly. He wants to run around. He takes a lot of sacks. Brady, if you would have blitzed Brady or Aaron Rodgers the same way you blitzed Mahomes or you blitzed Lamar Jackson, what would Brady have done? He would have saw the blitz. He would have audibled out. He'd have taken 2 steps and hit either the tight end or Antonio Brown or the back or Edelman like he did at New England. He got rid of the ball in 2 seconds. He knew where the blitz was, and then he would just go to the open area. But yeah, Baltimore couldn't do that. Like, they didn't know where the blitz was coming. Lamar Jackson couldn't read the blitz and didn't get rid of it. He's trying to run. No, because you're blitzing safeties who are as fast as Lamar Jackson. So you just look at it like that. It's really confusing what the hell is going on with Baltimore. Indy, is Jacksonville getting better? They hold Indy, or is Indy really that good? New England looks like they're coming on. Dallas, okay, it was a fluke, so let's continue with Dallas. Buffalo played again, so both Dallas and Buffalo off of a loss. You can't explain their terrible losses, but they do come back after the loss, so keep that note. New Orleans looks very strong. Tampa now has lost 2 in a row, and this week they've got the Giants at home, and I don't like Tampa. Detroit stinks. Pittsburgh without Roethlisberger. Their defense looks good. They're pretty much an under team. Mini San Diego, again, a live dog there. Carolina, Arizona. Arizona's just not the same. They got away with it with Colt McCoy once, but not twice. So you need Murray back, and then you bet Arizona. Now, here's where the trends get into. You've almost got to do a Murray trend and a Colt McCoy trend, and throw out the Colt McCoy trend and look at the Murray trend, and that's what you got to – so when Murray comes back, Arizona, they're undefeated. But when now you got Colt McCoy throwing off the stats, and I have a friend who looks at the last 3 games. Well, he's fucked because he's got Colt McCoy in there twice, so he's got to not count the Colt McCoy if Murray comes back. If Colt McCoy plays this week, so how I think Murray's got a high ankle sprain, because it's been 2.5 weeks and the guy's still doubtful, and I doubt he'll play here. They're at Seattle. They're not going to win with Colt McCoy. That game becomes an under or Seattle is a home dog. But you'll see that line move. If Murray doesn't play, that game will go Seattle -1. But anyway, Seattle, Green Bay. So Russell Wilson's back. Let him get a few games to get his timing back. Green Bay's for real, very strong defense. Philly, Denver, who the hell knows? KC looks like they're starting to score again. Oakland, again, is schizophrenic. The Rams with Stafford, terrible. Frisco, are they getting better? Well, they got a bunch of pick sixes, so we don't know. But that's what we learned, and we try to learn every week. That's the object, is to learn every week, and teams will change. Now, my biggest thing is, what do I say? When you're playing roulette or you're playing back rack, if you're playing back rack and a player hits 3, 4, 5 times in a row, you keep playing player. The bank hits 3, 4 times, you keep playing the bank until they lose. And that's what I'm doing with Georgia under and Ohio State over and Miami, Florida over. And then in the pros, you look for that team. Maybe it's New Orleans that's looking good, or see now KC starting to turn it on. Maybe now they got a good game with Dallas this week. So you start looking at who's hot and going with them, just because the NFL is so weak right now. It's hard to really you can't. Georgia's going to win and Alabama's going to win unless they play each other. And, Ohio State's going to kill Michigan State. Michigan's going to win. But in the pros, I think I froze. Am I not froze? Okay. I came. Okay. I think I'm back. So you don't know what you're getting. I mean, there's no way Buffalo should ever lose to Jacksonville and score 6 points, and then they put up 45 on the Jets. What the fuck is that? How can Buffalo not score at least 25 on Jacksonville? Jacksonville doesn't have a good defense. Or is the defense getting so much better? This is, again, what you need to know. And then the Jets suck, but then they beat Tennessee, and they suck, and they beat the Jets. But then Buffalo kills them. So you don't know what team you're getting half the time. White, I don't know. He threw 4 interceptions. Were they all his fault? One of them was not. The others were. But when you're down 30 points and you're throwing every down and they're blitzing you, you can't really blame the quarterback on that. But he was much stronger against Cincinnati, or Cincinnati didn't blitz. All you got to do against Fields, against Jackson, Tagliabue, all these rookie coaches, just blitz them. If you just blitz Josh Allen, you beat Buffalo. Look at Kansas City in the playoff game last year. They blitzed them. They didn't even get 10 points. All you got to do is blitz these guys. See, if you're letting the running quarterback dictate and he runs around the end, he uses his speed, and he gets 10 yards because you only rush 3 guys or 4. But if you blitz 6, they can't read the blitz. They can't get rid of it quickly, and they can't, and you're gonna win the game. So I don't understand these defensive coordinators. Miami did it very good against them, but who does Miami got this week? They are at the Jets. I don't know that you can blitz the Jets like you blitz Baltimore, and you're going to get the same action. The Jets are so bad. I mean, I look at the injury list and I go, I don't. It doesn't matter who's out. They all suck. So the Jets shouldn't win a game. I don't know how they win. I don't know how Jacksonville won. But anyway, so that's the review for this week. Tomorrow I'll do college. Again, my locks have been just so, except for the Baltimore, I go 5-0. So I go 4-0 college, hit Minnesota. The week before, I think I was 4-0. Week before, I think I was 4-0. I'm probably like 20-2 or 20-3 the last 4 weeks, especially college. I'm just crushing college. I know at least 3 weeks in a row I've been 4-0. If not one of the weeks, I think I was 5-0. So it's just been, I found Wake Forest and I found Miami on the overs. I remember I locked Miami over Pitt, and it was over at halftime. And then last week, Ohio State Purdue was over at halftime. So I'm finding perfect over teams. And that's the method to my madness of the coding, right? I'm coding a team over because they score 30 and give up 30. I code a team an A because they score 30 and give up 10. And so you're looking for an over team playing a Z team. Why is it a Z team? They score 10 and they give up 40. It's a perfect team to bet against. They don't score a lot. And you're not going to they're not going to blitz you. They're not going to, maybe they'll get an interception, but their defense gives up 40 points a game. They're not going to sit there. Then once in a while you pull a Southern Miss who does get the, changes to a Navy. All of a sudden, all their quarterbacks are hurt and they start running the ball. And I looked and they only threw 5 passes. It was like, what the fuck's going on? And that's okay. So that was a surprise, not what you're expecting. Again, I didn't lock UTSA, but I played them and I thought 33, the Southern Miss is terrible. But when you run like a Navy, you run the time off so the other team doesn't get as many points and won't score as many. So keep that in mind. The question is, when they do it, what are you going to get? So anyway, so that's what's going on. So we'll have the college and then the pro. And again, I'll have another boat full of locks. I could have as many as 3 pro locks this week. It depends. I'm going to lock Pitt if Roethlisberger's healthy. So keep that in mind, which might not know till Sunday. I'm not going to lock the other quarterback. And then there's, Green Bay, Minnesota. We'll see what we do with that. And then I think there's a couple that are really just screaming to be locked, good point spreads. And then college, Ohio State, Michigan State over, possibly. Michigan, possibly. Even my Army's 37 over Mass. They'll kill them because Mass, Army should score every time they have the ball. And it's beautiful about Army. They're just going to keep running their option. And UMass won't stop it, and they'll score and score and score. And Army's been scoring a lot. 37, so that's a big number, but still. We got Wake Forest as the dog. We got Baylor as the dog. We got USC, UCLA. We got Notre Dame. We got, Utah, Oregon. That could go over, and that certainly is a strong dog for Oregon there. Western Kentucky, Florida Atlantic should be an over. Florida Atlantic can score as long as their quarterback's healthy. We know Western Kentucky does. Minnesota should kill Indiana because they're on their fourth-string quarterback. Purdue, there's a whole slot full of games that we got in college that are just, but they're playing out according to what they should. Another example was roulette red. If red kept sitting, you hit red. Until black hits or black keeps hitting, you play black until. So that's what you want. You want to go with the flow. You keep betting Georgia under. They must be playing Bucknell or something this week because they're not on the board. I can't lock them under. They're not there. I think they got Georgia Tech Thanksgiving week. That'll be an under. And then I don't know. I think they got one other game. But and then they'll play Alabama. That'll be an under. Oh, my God. And I'm praying, please, Lord, let Alabama be the favorite in the Georgia game. That'll be, if I find another team, that'll be the biggest lock of the year if Alabama's in any way a 3-point favorite over Georgia. That the Georgia 9 is a 50-unit lock. So we'll pray for that. But I would bet Georgia will be a 7-point favorite, in which case Georgia -1 still a big lock. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So I hope everybody made some good money on my locks last week, and we look forward to this weekend. All right, everybody. Todd, Georgia's favored by 3 against whom? Alabama? That game isn't even, that's 2 weeks away. That's the championship game. If that's the real line, then we're taking Georgia +3 is a joke. They're not going to beat Georgia. That defense, and depending what the over-under is, but that's Georgia, Alabama, you're saying is 3, really? Seems like yeah. I mean, where are you finding? Because they don't play for at least 3 weeks. Georgia's got whoever, some high school this week. They got Georgia Tech the week Thanksgiving, and then they'd play Alabama. So a lot can happen, injuries and stuff could happen. But if that's all it is, then we're going to load up on Georgia +3. Georgia's not losing this year. I'd take Georgia Lion 3 against the Detroit Lions, Miami, Jacksonville, the Jets. Came out today on ESPN. Well, we'll see. I don't think that's too official, but yeah, I mean, that would, I'd love Georgia getting 3 from anybody. Like I said, half the pro teams they could beat. All right, well, that's it then. Again, www.teaserking.com. Todd, you can go to the site and email me. And, I think you're better off because you want to play a bigger teaser to buy for the extra 25, buy the college as opposed to the locks. And if I have pro locks, I'll give them to you. And that way you can have all the games. And then you could have, if you want to play a 10-team teaser, or an 18 teaser, this is a good week to do it. As you can see, I like 4 or 5 pro games, and I own a whole bunch of college. So that would probably be the best thing for you is the $100 college, and I'll make sure you get whatever pro. Yeah, you're welcome, Todd. I mean, you get all the action here. You get my reasons, which is all you can ask for is why am I making the bet? And I kind of make that as clear as possible. So, I mean, that's really what it is. And some of these guys are math guys. Well, the spread's 3.5. I don't know what the team is. I don't know what the matchup is. I'm going to take it because it's 3.5, or it's a teaser under 3, or it's a teaser over 7. I mean, very few people besides me would have had the KC under and the Frisco under and win them both Sunday and Monday night, only because of my matchup skills and my logic. All right, I'm off to the pool. I need to go work out and relax, take a hot tub. Thank you very much, and have a great week. And I'll be back tomorrow, probably right around this time, earlier. Probably I'm now on Central Time, so it'll be a little, so I'm coming on about 6 o'clock Central, probably tomorrow and Thursday with the games. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Again, www.teaserking.com. Take care. Have a nice day.